Hello everybody, this is Suman Chaudhary. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most important scientific theory that have shaped the modern science, the theory of evolution. You might wonder why a science and engineering professor gonna talk about the biology. Actually, my daughter today asked me about why we human are so different from each other. So I thought to teach her the theory of evolution because this is the only concept that can explain both scientifically and truthfully why we are different from each other. Yeah, it is true. It could be tough for her to grasp this complex theory. Even I have found many professors, teachers, engineers, doctors, they really do not have a good grasp of this theory. I'm not claiming that I know it, but over the years I studied a lot about evolutionary biology from my own passion and curiosity, and I believe that I understood the concept. So again, coming back to my daughter, yes, it is a very complex theory for her, but still I want her to learn some of this terminology. At least she will remember these words. And after my explanation, I can tell you she understood it very well. Very well. It's not that complex. It's mainly how we're going to present the information to a student, and I guess if you try with your kids, they will definitely understand. So let's get to the theory of evolution. So it is Charles Darwin who developed this theory of evolution and described in his great book, on the origin of species. So the story is that he studied plants, animals, and fossils in Southern America and some Pacific islands, and then he developed this theory and very nicely described it in his great book on the origin of species. So to understand the theory of evolution, we should understand first three concepts: natural selection, mutation, and origin of life. The natural selection is the basic mechanism of evolution. Now, if you put natural selection in a time scale, that is evolution. Now, what is natural selection? Natural selection talks about the natural variation exists in a population of a living organism, and this variation are basically different physical traits, and the physical trait that can better suit to any given environment have a better chance of survive and reproduce. So in this example of butterflies, for information, in biology class or people usually talk about beetles, but beetles are a little bit difficult to portray. So I just draw these butterflies so that I can explain this concept. So as you can see, there are some natural variation exist in among these butterflies. Some are black color, some are blue, some are red color. So these are basically different physical traits: blue, black, and red. So in this environment, this natural variation happens very randomly. And in this given environment, the red trait has a better chance of survival. So eventually, over the period of time, this red butterfly will reproduce and have more offsprings or kids than black and the blue butterflies. So the physical trait of red has a better chance of survival. That is called survival to the fittest. So survival to the fittest is the base of natural selection, and the natural selection is the mechanism of the evolution. Now this red offspring, that is it is getting a very frequent gene, a very frequent physical trait in this given environment. Now we are talking about the physical traits which are visible, right? What happens in a very molecular level? So the molecules of the gene, their changes and which are expressed as a red, blue, and black, right? So changes in the genetic level, in the molecules of the genetic level, is called mutation. And these are some random mutation happens, and through the mutation process, we change that the different species can different species can create, different species can also extinct from this environment. So the mutation that happen in molecular level, it can be helpful, it can be harmful, or it can be neutral. And it is mainly happen because of the nature is the main driving force behind this random mutation process. So human actions like hunting, overfishing, or destroying the natural environment or natural habitat and harming other animals, these are all very harmful and can cause a human extinction like a dinosaur. So we have to protect our environment. We need to make an eco-friendly environment so that our Homo sapiens do not get extinct from this beautiful earth. Now the third one, origin of life, right? So as I talk about the mutation is the changes in molecular level of the gene to adapt to a given environment, right? So in any given environment, the genetic changes that happening, it can evolve into a new species, or two different species can diverge in a given branches. So like to talk about this one, I have another second slide paper here. Like we are Homo sapiens, right? And if you trace back, we have branches out in a different origin of in this tree, like that. Here all life actually originated from a single microbe, okay, in the single microbe. And in a time scale of evolution process, some of the genetical changes happening, the mutation happen, and different species created, and they branches out, they diverge in a different path. Even the plant and animal share the same common ancestor. And if we trace back all of our ancestors together, we all come from a single microbe. So this is the origin of life. So in another video, I'll talk about the theory of biochemical evolution and an R.M. Miller experiment that explain how the single microbe started its journey. So all right. So here, what we learn from here, all life are connected to each other. Okay, we are all cousins. All life are precious. All are originated from single microbe. That is the origin of life. So through how we diverge and evolve through mutation process in a micro scale, and these changes are driven by the nature. So that is the natural selection to adapt to a given environment. All right, now let's talk about Homo sapiens. So my daughter asked me why there are so many variations in human being, right? Let's talk about it. Before I talk about it, let me bring you back to this slide here. So we are Homo sapiens, our modern thinking, right? There have been many other similar species like Homo neanderthalis, Homo erectus, Homo habilis. This is not one after another. We started our journey in parallel in millions years ago. And the recent discovery of Lucy, which is Australopithecus. So basically we are the cousin of gorilla and chimpanzee. We actually evolved from an ape as a Homo, walk on the two legs. And the ape actually evolved from a monkey, which is not modern day monkey, is different. And so this monkey is also our cousin. And if you trace back, we are actually primate, mammal, right? So the Charles Darwin, he actually talked about this fantastic evolution in his another book, a famous book, which is not very well known, The Descent of Man, in this book. So now Homo sapiens, They used to have a long furs. If you look at any ancient or primitive human being, you can see they have a long furs, long hairs, right? They used to live in near to the equator line in modern Africa. And since they have to hunt in a very sunny days, with the influence of a strong sun, the furs are not helpful because of sweating and other, things. So slowly the Homo sapiens, they lost the furs, and to protect them from ultraviolet rays, the bad effect of ultraviolet ray is creating cancerous element, right? But ultraviolet rays also do some good things, like it helps creating vitamin D. So since Homo sapiens lost their furs, to protect them from harmful ultraviolet rays, the body created melanin, basically pigmentation, dark pigmentation, which acts as a nature's sunscreen. So the dark skin African, it is more of a natural sunscreen to protect the Homo sapiens from the harmful ultraviolet rays. Now, if you consider in a Europe or near to the Arctic region, the sun is not that strong here. Even there are not many days of sunny days. So eventually, to produce vitamin D, the black skin or dark skin is not helpful here. So slowly, body could not create enough melanin, and skin becomes more lighter tone. So over the period of time, most of the surviving people here are the fair skin or white skin people. Okay, so that is the whole point. Like every variation that we see in our world are driven by evolution, the natural selection, mutation, these two dynamics. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about a very controversial thing. So now the question is that before Darwin, what people or scientific community used to believe in. So the society was mainly shaped by religious and socio-political dynamics, and people used to believe the religious scripture, like God created all life or living being, and all life are fixed, they never changed, and animals are created for human. All these three concepts are not true in terms of scientific evidence, especially like when the existence of dinosaur fossil was discovered in mid 18th century. Then this these concepts from the religious book got a lot of backlash from scientific community as well as a secular community as well. So does it mean that God doesn't exist or all religions are wrong? Not true. The religion has a lot of contribution in shaping our modern society. So, but there are some other religious concepts that exist in different part of the earth. Like this kind of theory can also be like has some philosophical perspective, like one consciousness exists in every living being, which even Socrates talk about it. Maybe the changes are coded inside the single microbe. Yes, probably the changes or adaptation or natural selection or the random mutations probably are coded inside the single microbe. But they have no scientific evidence, because the whole point of natural selection is the random selection. There is no intellectual designer. So it just happened. So in that perspective, this has some philosophical rationale, but may not be true in scientific terms. Yeah, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and so if you have any question, please let me know. I appreciate your comments and if any questions. Thank you so much for listening to this video, and I hope you will have a wonderful day. Bye.